Aloha, family and friends. My name is Darren, and I am the youngest brother of Paul, who is the oldest of three sons in our family. My apologies for not being there in person today. It was only a few short weeks ago that our mom passed away, and I was there in Utah, so I'm not able to break away for another trip to the mainland this time. I'm so thankful for modern technology that allows me to be with you. I prepared a little tribute of my life and times with Paul that I'd like to just share with you. Paul was 10 years older than me, so the years we spent together in our parents' home in Salt Lake City were precious. Thinking back, my earliest memory of him was when I was about 3 years old. For some reason, I remember him chasing me around our front room, threatening me with an open bobby pin, needing to secure my old-style cloth diaper. He had been assigned to that duty by my mom. Of that occasion, I remember laughing as hard as possible when he captured me. It was a moment of childhood joy. The next 5 years to me seemed like a period of time that would never change. He and I and my brother Bruce lived in our newly built home with my parents, and everything in life seemed like it would continue on into perpetuity forever. Together as a family, we had memorable birthdays, Bear Lake trips, road trips, vacations, days of water skiing and snow skiing, and more. Christmas, however, was definitely the peak celebration of the year for our family. We didn't take as many pictures back then, so as time passed, our family best remembered the Christmases that actually did get filmed. I don't remember the particular year, but there was one Christmas that I believe reigned supreme in our memories. It was when I got an X15, a pedaled tricycle that seemed futuristic for the time. Bruce got a 5-speed bike, and Paul got a BB gun. If you can picture the scene in the movie Christmas Story where Ralphie got his Red Ryder gun, that was the scene of our best family Christmas ever, and that childhood moment is frozen in time for me. During those years, I remember admiring my big brother greatly as I watched him play ward softball, as he grew big sideburns, rode his motorcycle, hung out with cool friends, and put lettered stickers on the back of our red Volkswagen labeling it the Rubber Ducky. It was a thing in the 60s. I don't think my dad liked that he did that, but I was definitely on my brother's side because it seemed cool. He seemed cool. On the not so endearing side, I remember my big brother being a bully sometimes to Bruce and me, especially on our long, unair-conditioned summer drives to California. Many a time did Bruce and I receive a good slug in the arm for horsing around too much in the back seat while he was trying to sleep. I did not like my big brother on those occasions. Of course, home life for our family didn't continue into blissful perpetuity, and things did change when Paul got his mission called to England at the age of 19 and I was 9. I remember being very tearful at his departure, and I remember that those 2 years felt like eternity. While he was on his mission, I have one distinct memory. I remember a phone call from him at Christmas time, and I remember it being very grainy and very short. It was enough, however, because I knew he was still out there somewhere. The honest truth is, I remember that as the most exciting phone call of my childhood. I didn't realize it at the time, but his mission would effectively mark the end of an era where we would live together in our parents' home, other than on weekend visits. I remember those weekend visits because Paul had enlisted in the National Guard around the time of the Vietnam War, and his guard duty always brought him back to Salt Lake. I liked that he served our country in the National Guard. Looking back, it was really only 6 years from the time of my first memory with Paul to the time that he moved out of our home. Those 6 years were very memorable years, however, and they remained the connection point for our entire lives. In the 1980s, I moved out of our parents' home and became a music student at BYU. While there, I did enjoy hanging out with him in his Fine Arts Center office, and I appreciated some perks that he provided for me while he was the man in charge of the Dion Concert Hall. I also admired the way that he interacted with his students. To me, he always had a way about him that seemed to command a level of respect, and I admired that. In 1992, my wife and I left Utah for graduate school and careers and have not lived permanently in Utah since then. Over these past 30 years, Paul was a busy man working for BYU at the Covey Center and caring for his immediate and extended family. While those aspects of his life rightfully consumed him, it has been a challenge to stay meaningfully connected, for sure. The thing that did connect us was our beloved parents. For Paul, Bruce, and I, we were devoted to our parents because of their unwavering support for us. One of their strengths was that they instilled a strong work ethic into all three of us through action, teaching, and example. This built our loyalty and bonded us as a family, even though our careers separated us geographically. As my parents aged, I've been in Hawaii and Bruce has been in Logan, so it has primarily fallen upon Paul and his family to be the family caregivers for my parents' last years. While we have all chipped in, Paul carried the lion's share of the burden, and it was not easy for him or his family. May I say that again? This service he and his family provided for my parents was not easy for them. For that, I cannot express adequately the depth of my appreciation. I truly wish that I could have been of more service to my parents in their final years, so I have no words strong enough to express the depth of my gratitude to Paul, Bruce, and their families for their service in this area. In these past decades, my parental support has mostly been through weekly phone calls and many flights back and forth during summers and at Christmas time. Thankfully, I always knew that Paul would be there for them. He was incredibly trustworthy that way. Of the many, many hats that he wore in his lifetime, he truly was best at being a devoted son to our parents, a devoted husband to Paula, and devoted father to Pepper, Crystal, and Brandy and their kids. He loved his family. Last year, I knew that Paul had had some health issues that sounded pretty serious, but I didn't really know how bad they were. I don't think any of us really did. As expressed in my recent Facebook tribute to him, I shared a lunch with him last Christmas, and he took me to a restaurant that was sentimental to him in his college years. We knew that our mom was close to passing, and that subject was part of the conversation, but really, we talked more about those 6 years that we were in the home together. Our talk included some of the things that only he and I could laugh about. It was amazing how fast 50 plus years could vanish away in the blink of an eye. I felt reconnected to him that day in a way that was truly special and will never forget it. During that wonderful lunch, never did I think that that would be our last quality conversation together. Life is so short. Now that he has passed, I know that he is having a great reunion with my mom and dad and some other relatives in heaven. I wish it weren't so. He left this earth way too soon in my eyes, but my eyes are not God's eyes. Big brother, I am happy that your suffering is over. I hope you enjoy eternity. Thank you for your contribution to my life, and God be with you until we meet again. Love you.